Hello and welcome to the UEFA Europa League breakfast show brought to you by Kia. My name is Jack Collins and I'll be here every Europa League match week to kickstart your day with previews and an analysis alongside a deep dive into the stories that make this the most exhilarating and diverse club competition on the planet. So sit down, pour yourself a coffee and let's talk everything Europa League. This week I'm joined by one of the most recognisable faces in football. If I stood here listing all your job titles, Josh would be here all day. Mr. Josh Denzel, Arsenal fan and lover of this very competition.
Absolutely, man. This is our tournament this year.
I love this competition, obviously, but I think there's a massive narrative around why it's so exciting and why it's so enjoyable. What are your favourite bits about the Europa League?
You know what? I think it's not knowing who you're going to face. It's not knowing where you're going to be. You could be in Tel Aviv on a Thursday night, or the next week. You know, you could be in Greece. Like you could be in Spain. It's like there's so much diversity in the teams and the names and the players. Like I don't necessarily watch the the Greek league every week in, week out. But then you can kind of see a few players. Suddenly you get on Football Manager, you do whatever. You go, oh, there's a little bit of a superstar there. And then you know what I mean. So it's nice to kind of see like a new sphere of football. Opening
up those new worlds across the continent. What's your favourite Europa League memory, the one you treasure dearest?
Beating Valencia over 2 legs to get to the final in Baku, that was good. And the first 2.5 seconds of the final in 2019, that's probably my favourite. After that, it all gets a bit blurry. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah.
But all in all, I definitely say that 2019 run, that whole run was unbelievable because it was nice to be, back in. We felt like a European force, for a while.
Yeah, for a little while, and maybe you're on the path to doing so again, Josh. Round of 32 saw 102 goals across the 16 ties, more than 3 goals a game, and Rangers versus Royal Antwerp, the record for the most goals ever in a UEL knockout tie. As we said at the top, this is Europe's most exciting club competition. So should we take a look at this week's fixtures? What's standing out to you here? What are the games that your eyes are going to be glued to?
You know what? You can't look past the 2 European giants. You've got United. You've got Milan. Hopefully, we get Zlatan back because I feel like that is going to be key in making that game as as good as it can be. And obviously, ex-United as well, and he's always got something to say, so the build-up will be unbelievable. But United look good, Milan, they've kind of been up and down in the competition, but I feel like on those kind of big European nights, they could do something special. So
2 absolute colossus stadium, of this competition, San Siro, Old Trafford, and 2 relatively young, exciting teams, I think, which is interesting. You look at Milan, and obviously they've been atop of Serie A for long periods of this season. They've fallen off a little bit now, and this maybe looks like their best chance of silverware. And you've got Theo Hernandez obviously bombing up and down that flank. Rafael Leao, who's come in, he's going to lead the line if Ibrahimovic isn't there. And I suppose Fikayo Tomori for people a little bit close to home on loan. And I think the one for me, Sandro Tonali. Right, looks like Pirlo, passes like Pirlo, tackles like Gattuso. A winning combination, I think. So you look at, with that, and then you look at Rashford and the kind of young core coming through at United. There's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's guaranteed to be a good game. Whenever you say that, it's not quite as a good game, but I think that it's set up to be unbelievable. United are in great form right now. So.
Well, first and foremost, when I was growing up, AC Milan are a massive club. The San Siro is an iconic stadium, so when we got drawn and people told us about who we got, it was an exciting tie. It's an exciting tie to be involved in. It's an exciting time to play in. We're focused on ourselves and we look after ourselves, and we go into the game full of confidence, but for sure it's a great tie to be involved in.
What about Rangers, Slavia Prague? This is quite a nice little tie. It's come out of nowhere. It's bubbling nicely. Yeah. Rangers obviously got the league title won this weekend. Slavia Prague knocked out Leicester. This is a quite like low-key dark horse tie.
Yeah, I've been to Slavia Prague, right? I went a few away days there, and it's not a nice place to play. It's quite open. It's freezing cold. Like, I cannot tell you how cold it is. You're about 6-7 feet higher than the pitch. There's a running track around it. It's just not a nice place to go.
Old school European adventure.
But listen, if anyone can do it, Rangers can do it. They've wrapped up their 55th title. They're looking good. They've got no league. They haven't got to worry about the league. This is now their main competition.
And why not? Why not?
Why not just go win it?
Steven Gerrard will fancy you, won't he? Obviously some big ties in there, but this show isn't just about the teams, it's about you as well. So we'd like to hear from you, and we'd like you to get in touch using the hashtag UEL Breakfast. One of the things we love most about the Europa League is the iconic theme music, and so we're going to need your help, basically. Over the course of this series, we're going to try and recreate that theme music using you, the fans. All you have to do is record yourself either singing or playing along to that theme tune, share it using the hashtag UEL Breakfast, and we'll piece it all together to make up a version built by the fans. If we get there, I'll get the saxophone out live on set. We'll do it live on the final show.
Don't look at me for any vocals. I'll stop talking about football. Great, singing theme, can't do it.
No, we'll keep you out. Keep you out of that one, Josh. You know your strengths. Know your strengths. Right, let's talk about some of the bits and bobs we've seen on social media over the course of the round of 32. An incredible night for Mulder. Yeah. They eliminated Hoffenheim, but striker Eirik Hester almost called himself a real load of problems with his eagerness to get on as a sub. Chucked his wedding ring over to the sideline, and thankfully manager Erling Moa rescued it. Imagine the trouble. Like that's.
You know what? Lucky that there's no fans allowed, because it would be family and friends in the stand, and I'm guarantee you his wife would have been on the field berating him before he got on. So luckily the gaffer was there to pick it up.
You're like,
he could have got that. Would have been a frosty house.
Get home and you're like, "Where's your wedding ring?" Like, I left it on the sidelines at Hoffenheim.
Least believable story in the. At least they got video evidence. At least they got video evidence.
Yeah, like
4K.
Having to book a flight back, getting quarantined for 2 weeks, just to wander around the sidelines trying to find the wedding ring. Unbelievable. Now Alfredo Morelos, known perhaps most for his goal-scoring instincts in the penalty box, but also showed that sportsmanship was part of his game. Through on goal. Through an injury suffered by defender Jeremy Gelin, he stopped play instead of trying to score, which was a gesture appreciated by both the club he faced and some high-profile fellow players. Big Rom there.
Yeah, listen, I don't think Big Rom really was thinking that sensibly, because if it was him through on goal,
would he have stopped?
1-0 down, 1-1, impossible that he stops. I think it's nice when someone else does it.
Yeah.
You go,
you can clap.
That's a better man than me. Yeah. I wouldn't do it, but yeah. You know what I mean? I'm sure that, if they were in a bit more of a dodgy situation score-wise,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it wouldn't have stopped.
Absolutely. Big Rom loves the Europa League, obviously bossed it last year. But interesting that he was watching Rangers Antwerp. Now, did some digging into this. Obviously, came through Anderlecht's academy. He was actually born in Antwerp. He was probably there just cheering on Rangers against his old rivals, having none of it.
100%. That rivalry runs deep in Belgium, and it's nice that he's staying up to date with the old clubs. It's nice to know, people say footballers, they don't care, they don't care as much about the fans anymore, and they don't have those the deep ties to clubs. But he's obviously showing it's still in here.
Still in there, still looking for it. We saw some absolute scenes as Slavia Prague celebrated their win over Leicester, both on the pitch where they FaceTimed current West Ham and former Slavia player Thomas Souček from the centre circle, and then the party carried on into the dressing rooms. Right, it wasn't necessarily all smiles like the next week, because, the manager he's put a door through. It looks like they're going to be picking up a cost for this.
Like a teenager's bedroom.
Honestly.
Yeah, after a fight with the family, but it was like a bit more of we've had with Fergie, we've had the hairdryer, the foot through the door as a way to G up your players at half time. I don't know, it become a new thing. It might be very expensive. Get cardboard doors in all stadiums, you might be right.
So, since we're jumping in at the round of 16, we thought we'd have a little look back through the competition so far. Josh, the group stages had shock results, underdogs triumphing, and of course, some of Europe's grandest old guns booking their spots in the round of 32. It was beautiful chaos for the most part.
Absolutely. We have some big teams obviously dropping out as well. You're talking about the grand old guns that made it. We had some huge teams going out. You've got Leicester, Napoli, Leverkusen. German teams just don't seem to do as well in this competition. But it's always good fun. The group stage is always good fun. That's why I love this competition.
Absolutely. And, who's your favourites now? You look at who's left in the competition. Who's sitting up there for you?
I'm looking at that United-Milan game and thinking that the winner probably comes out of that tie. But if it's not Arsenal, it will be Spurs. I feel like there's going to be in the final. So I think United Spurs final potentially.
I've seen the pain etched on your face there, so I'll move it swiftly along to Arsenal. We talk about your boys, and it's been a really good competition for Arsenal. It's been maybe a tonic to the Premier League ups and downs.
It has been all the medicine to the Premier League ups and downs. It's been nice. Obviously, winning the 6 games in the group stages was great, and it was something that Arsenal fans looked at Arteta and said, please focus on this competition. The league is the league. We'll look to win this, get some silverware. That's hopefully the plan for Arsenal. But we seem to be doing well. And the young boys are coming through, Emil Smith-Rowe, Saka. But this has been Emil Smith-Rowe's playground.
I was going to say, this has been the competition where he's asserted himself. And I think there was, the opportunities came for him in the Europa League, and he has fully grasped them both hands and gone, no, I must start everywhere. I am excellent.
Yeah, exactly. And it's nice to see a young player kind of grab his opportunity like that. And I think when we're playing in the Europa League, we maybe play with a little bit more freedom than we usually do, and there's the kind of less pressure on the player's shoulder. So it's allowed him to be a little bit more free, and the young players are kind of working together nicely. So for him, it's great for him, and it's even better for us.
Yeah, and they've got through, the group stages were, reasonably plain sailing, but it was a tough tie against Benfica, who have been a bit indifferent in their league form, but, still one of the big clubs in Europe and one of the bigger clubs in the competition at that point, and it took a lot of character and a lot of heart.
We don't make things easy for ourselves at all, and it's nice that Aubameyang found his shooting boots. That kind of gives you a little bit of hope, like we do have a bit of grit, and we do have the ability to pull results out of the bag, when we don't necessarily deserve them. So This is why I have a little bit of hope for us this year.
Who are the dark horses for you? Because we're looking at a competition where a lot of them knocked out. Napoli, Leverkusen, Real Sociedad. A lot of those teams have fallen already in this competition, and now the dark horses chat is a little bit different.
A dark horse for me, Shakhtar, because they're always, you see them semi-finals, quarter-finals, final. They're a name that's perennially in and around that, and you're like, hang on a minute, I don't really, I like to focus on Premier League, Europa League, and Arsenal give me enough stress, but they're always there and thereabouts. So I don't know too much about them, but at Shakhtar, I think.
The Ukrainian league obviously doesn't get as much coverage as some other leagues, so they're often sort of an unknown quantity in some ways. But they won this in its last iteration as the UEFA Cup in 2009, and in the 12 seasons since then, they've reached the knockout rounds in 7. Of the remaining 5 years, 3 of those they've got to the Champions League knockout stages. So it's a good record. It's a very good record, and they have so much talent passing through those ranks. Names that will be familiar to you from the Emirates in terms of Eduardo and Henrik Mkhitaryan, Willian, but also Fernandinho, Frej, Douglas Costa. It's been a hotbed of talent, particularly Brazilian talent in Europe.
Well, I want to take all of their backroom staff and bring them to Arsenal, because we need some of that. But yeah, I think all of those names that you mentioned as well have been playing around about the same time. So no wonder they've been great in the competition. And obviously they've got new talent coming up now. And to get to this point in the competition, you have to be good, and you have to put together a good run of results. So for sure, I think they could be a challenger.
Marlos the Silver Fox, running their campaign. And someone else who you know well, Unai Emery, obviously now at Villarreal, and they eased past Jesse Marsch's Salzburg in the last round. He is very much the master of this competition, and he not only winning it 3 times with Sevilla, 14, 15, 16, but also guiding Arsenal to a final, as you well know, 2 years ago. He's been in the competition 6 times, 6 runs at the Europa League. He has only failed to make the quarterfinals once. It feels just morally wrong to write him off.
You know what? That's why, as an Arsenal fan, you had so much confidence in that run. You thought, listen, European giants again. I can't wait. I can't wait to add another trophy on the hoardings of the Emirates. It didn't happen for us, but he has missed the Europa League. He is the man. So you can't argue with any team. I said he could be managing like a 5-a-side team down at the local power league, and he'd get them to the quarterfinals or at least out the group stages. He's the truth when it comes to this competition.
Absolutely. Every week on the show, we're going to be picking a top 5. And this week, since we've been talking about the competition so far, we thought we'd pick our top 5 moments of this season's Europa League. I'll start us off, Josh, because at 5, I've got some long range strikes. I love a worldie. But match day 1, right, Kamar Roof for Rangers strikes from 50 metres, the Europa League record against Standard Liège, and he thinks, right, I've got the record in the bag, thanks very much. Apart from the very next week, Jordi Gomez comes along and strikes from 56 metres for Omanoya against PSV. Jordi Gomez, once of Wigan.
I remember he's still playing.
He's still playing, still banging them in from distance as well.
Like young David Beckham-esque. Right, at number 4, got Arsenal winning and taking maximum points in the group stage.
I thought you might go there.
Listen, only 10 teams have done it.
Right, at 3, I'm going goals galore, I'm calling it. On match day 1, the group stage record for goals in a single game was matched twice on the same evening. First, Villarreal won 5-3 against Sivasspor. Only for 45 minutes later or so, Leverkusen to beat Nice 6-2. And then, on match day 3, 93 goals were scored across the competition. A record for a match day, but not just a record. It blew the old record out of the water. 12 more goals than any other week.
Unbelievable. Well, talking of goals, Young Boys against Leverkusen. I mean, Young Boys go up 3-0. Game's done. Okay? Leverkusen stage an unbelievable comeback. It's like a scene out of Rocky. Okay? Only to draw the game 3-3, 89th minute, what do? Go and concede. Horrible.
Horrible. Well, I'm going to take the tone down slightly for number 1. And it's the tributes to a legend of the game, Diego Armando Maradona. Ahead of match day 4, he sadly passed away, the man who led Napoli to UEFA Cup glory in 1989. And the tributes from around the grounds for the great man were something to behold. Of course, the thing that everyone loves most about the Europa League is goals. And we've had plenty, 544 in the competition so far this year. But Josh, what's the only thing better than a goal?
Celebration.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Now, I've seen you play in a couple of charity games here and there. What's your go-to celebration? I mean, not that I've seen you score.
I'm about to say, yeah. I have to blow the cobwebs off it. But, you know, I like the Jesse Lingard kind of...
Oh, a little dance.
Yeah, a little dance. That was the crouch robot.
I was
more
like,
more like the moonwalk and all of that. I've definitely got that in my life.
The whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
Absolutely. Well, along with our partners at Kia, we've been picking our favourite celebrations across the board as the season has progressed. And here's some of the moments we've picked out so far. Right, some good ones there, but my favourite, probably Eirik Ulland Andersen from Molde. He was setting them on the way to a 2-0 win. They won 5-3 over Hoffenheim on aggregate. Knee slides central. A couple of slick little knee slides in there, but that one stood out to me.
100%, definitely watered the pitch there.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be grazing those knees. I mean, celebrations are famous in this competition. Anything that jumps out to you as, you know, an iconic one?
For sure, has to be Griezmann. Has to be Griezmann. I mean, I don't know where he pulls it from, Fortnite or wherever it may be, but he's obviously plays a lot of computer games. So for me, Griezmann I like.
Loves a dance, doesn't he? I mean, Daniel Sturridge for me.
Yeah, also
seeing that dance pulled out for Liverpool in this competition, just unbelievable. I think that was really a benchmark for celebrations, wasn't it? We hit a moment there, and everyone's like, right, got to up the game again. And
yeah, I think it was the start of an upward trend in the quality of celebrations and people having their own celebrations as well. Like he coined that. That was his only. You know, we had Robbie Keane. You know, we saw with the roll and the gun fingers, but I think Sturridge just stands out.
I love that Robbie Keane celebration. Well, for more celebrations, go and check out Kia's YouTube channel, and there's some very special interpretations of some of the classics that we've just mentioned. Right, Josh, time to put you on the spot. It's time to get the paddles out and make your decisions. Firstly, who have been your favourite team to watch in the competition so far?
Oof, do you know what? it's going to have to be the young boys.
Interesting. That's very
goals galore.
Absolutely.
Goals galore.
Yeah. Okay. Who's going to make the final?
Oh, I mean, it's painful. It's already set up. Maybe like.
And
there's only one team, other team that's going to make the final, guys. Come on. It's amazing. It was already there. It's amazing. Look, we lost to one team in 2019. It ain't happening again. I'm telling you right now.
All right. And which team is going to win the tournament?
You're asking me silly questions again.
He's backing himself. Backing himself. We heard it here first. Josh Denzel says Arsenal winning this season's Europa League.
Hat-trick.
Well, on that bombshell, Josh, that's pretty much all we've got time for. And all that's left for me to do is say thank you very much for joining me today.
It's been a pleasure. Hopefully I'll be back soon.
And thank you to all of you for watching at home. This has been the Europa League Breakfast Show, brought to you by Kia. We'll see you ahead of the next match week. Enjoy this week's fixtures. See you soon.